This week on India Business Report, how traders tried to rig profits in the cotton trade but ended up bleeding white. An eastern powerhouse brings light into consumers' lives, but not everyone is happy about it. Abandoned by its own creator, can a homegrown telecom inventor survive? And what's on offer in the new Capital Bazaar? Hello and welcome. Cotton prices have increased relentlessly for 5 years, but industry watchers believe it's more than the fault of the market. Although there is growing demand for cotton and there have been crop failures, there is now a whiff of scandal in the breeze. Scandal involving large cotton farmers with political connections, textile mill owners and cotton speculators. Not surprisingly, few people will speak on the record, as Sunita Kaul found out during her investigations across Punjab in North India, Coimbatore in the south and Bombay in the west.
This year, the cotton trade has taken a page out of India's stock market history. While small investors lost, large commodity players made a fortune betting on this white gold. In 6 months, cotton prices doubled to over $200 a quintal. Aggressive daily trading saw prices fluctuate by up to $10 a quintal on some varieties.
इस साल सबसे ज़्यादा पिछले 100 साल में इतना फ्लक्चुएट 6 घंटे में 165 रुपए पर मन रुई बढ़ गई ओल्ड मन.
हैवी परचेजेस में इंडिया के बड़े ग्रुप जो एक्सपोर्टिंग है, जैसे मफ्तलाल है, बॉम्बे डाइंग है, अरविंद ग्रुप है, रामालिंगा ग्रुप है, जितने इंडिया के बड़े बड़े नामी ग्रुप है, मद्रा कोट्स है, उन सब ने पंजाब में एक किस्म का रेड कर दिया रुई परचेज में.
Traders bought over 600,000 bales of cotton forward even before the crop was harvested, on the condition that farmers hold supplies. Their plan was to force farmers to hoard. They thought this would cause panic forward buying by the mills, pushing up prices. But traders were actually betting on a glut. It was fairly simple arithmetic. First buy to hoard, then bid up prices and write contracts with the mills at these high prices. Once the market was in a glut, traders thought they would pick up the commodity cheap and make a killing in the process.
सब विलेज में जो फार्मर ट्रेडिंग करते थे, उन्होंने सब विलेज में मैसेज भेज दिया, जैसे वायरलेस के थ्रू मैसेज पहुंचता है, भी नरमा का रेट 3000 रुपीज पर क्विंटल हो जाएगा, 1800 से एकदम जंप करके 3000 हो जाएगा. उसके कारण जमींदार नरमा नहीं लेकर आए.
तो इससे क्या फर्क पड़ा, क्या हुआ मार्केट?
तो जो मिल थे वो रुई लेने के लिए उतावले हो गए, तो वो एक दूसरे से एक जना बढ़ करके आगे रुई लेने लग गया, इसलिए रुई एकदम जंप हो गई.
Pratap Singh Chowdhury is a ginner. His factory processes raw cotton to mill specifications. This year, to make quick gains, many ginners like him lured into the cotton trade small investors like sweet sellers and primary school teachers. Speculators controlled prices by placing agents in the mandis who floated false buy orders to artificially increase prices. Supplies were controlled by paying farmers higher than market rates on the condition that stocks would be collected after a few months. The extra money was enough incentive for farmers to hold off market supplies.
ऐसा तो मतलब वो इन्वेस्ट करती है, जैसे 18% इंटरेस्ट मतलब जो है मेन चलता है पंजाब में, तो 18% की जगह उनको 36% की कमाई हो, तो वो 18% की बजाय 36% वाला धंधा करने में ज़्यादा रखते हैं उसका.
In this market frenzy, some large textile mill owners are alleged to have conspired with their trading colleagues. The Regional Cotton Association in Punjab is headed by a trader who buys and sells for Arvind Mills. Although he refused to meet India Business Report, it is known that he, along with Arvind Mills, bought 40,000 bales worth over $3 million in a forward contract. 3 months before cotton supplies were to arrive in the market, they started short selling, thinking a bumper cotton crop would bring down prices. But exactly the opposite of this happened. The result was traders failed to give deliveries when prices actually increased out of control.
तो इतनी कमी क्रॉप आने से पहले, कपास परचेज करने से पहले ही आ गई कि वो कमिटमेंट ऑनर करना प्रैक्टिकल फिजिबल नहीं था. ऐसा था कि यार जिनिंग फैक्ट्री वाले अगर सौदा भुगताते हैं तो उनकी फैक्ट्रियां भी बिक जाएंगी, तब भी जाके ऑनर नहीं होगा.
The unusual disruption in the cotton market this year was caused by the infringement of a simple law. India's cotton trade is regulated by the Government Forward Markets Commission, FMC. It allows extremely limited trading called Non-Transferable Specific Delivery Contract (NTSC). This means forward deals in cotton can be struck only once. After cotton is bought or sold in a forward deal, it cannot be retraded. Also, physical delivery has to be made as contracted. Ironically, this year, the Forward Market Commission extended the delivery period to 6 months. Traders and mill owners got extra time to sell and resell the same bale of cotton without making deliveries, converting the FMC permission into speculation.
Forward trading is normal. I mean, it's not an abnormal phenomenon. I mean, you have cotton crop is only from October to May, maybe April, May. And you have to buy your entire year's requirements, so you're bound to forward trade.
गवर्नमेंट ने मंजूरी सट्टे की नहीं दे रखी, उन्होंने NTSD की दे रखी है और फॉरवर्ड मार्केट कमीशन ने नॉर्थन इंडिया कॉटन एसोसिएशन को ये NTSD रेगुलेट करने के लिए उसको सैंक्शन दी हुई है, मगर ये बन गया सट्टा.
Neat profit calculations went haywire when pests destroyed the cotton crop, converting a moderate artificial scarcity created by speculators into a real scarcity. Prices jumped out of control to unheard of levels. The only way traders could wriggle out of their commitments was to declare bankruptcy, forcing mills engineers to arrive at a settlement price different from the contracted one. There must be lessons for the regulators following this year's breakdown in the cotton trade. But there seems little doubt that forward markets need to have better mechanisms to take care of crises, whether caused by man or nature.
This week on India Business Report, will the sale of family land raise enough money to save old and dying textile mills? Will it be a panacea or the kiss of death for the mill's workers? Having survived earlier troubles in soft drinks and snack foods, will Pepsi chicken out over the latest controversy surrounding its fast foods entry? Why is the tiny honeybees industry facing bitter prospects? And shares of the biggest car seller on sale in the new capital market. Hello and welcome. Perhaps it was the fear of trade union agitation in an election year that compelled the government to approve the $6.5 billion modernization plan for the National Textile Corporation, NTC. Every cent of the $6.5 billion revival package will come from the sale of excess land. 36 unviable mills will be restructured into 18 profitable units. 15 dying mills under NTC management will be brought into the stable. But crucially, if only to send out the correct political signals, not one worker will be laid off and not a single mill will be sold or shut down. Such plans have been drawn up before. One in 1992 was shelved. There are irreconcilable differences in the government. The Textile and Labour Ministries want the plan. The Finance Ministry is against it. According to the finance people, these more than 100-year-old mills are beyond repair. Sunita Kaul finds out whether the new NTC plan is just another strategy to buy time.
In the 60s, India's textile industry fell critically ill. Owners refused to invest in modern machinery, siphoning money to new ventures. 1 million jobs were at stake. Faced with a collapse in the industry, the government nationalized over 100 mills by the mid-70s. These old and dying factories were restructured into 9 subsidiaries under a holding company, the National Textile Corporation, NTC. But the remedy proved worse than the illness. The government saddled these hemorrhaging mills with popular schemes to sell cheap, subsidized cloth. A corrupt and unaccountable management added to the losses.
मैनेजमेंट तो पिछले 7-8 साल से मैडम ऐसा है कि टोटल एनटीसी होल्डिंग कंपनी का मैनेजमेंट ही नहीं है. कभी कोई चेयरमैन 2 साल के लिए, कोई 1.5 साल के लिए, और वो भी सारे ओल्ड एज टाइम के ऊपर आते हैं और अपना टाइम काट के चले जाते हैं.
This is the Ayodhya Textile Mill, part of the North Indian Group subsidiary. The government has already spent $9 million on the modernization of the 9 mills in this group. But despite doubling capacity, sales dropped by half last year. Today, most of the 120 NTC mills are in this condition. closed. This mill in the North Indian industrial town of Kanpur produced the country's best canvas on a modern German line. If the government had acted in time, it could have been saved. After reimbursing cash losses for years, the government is now refusing to do so. It has agreed only to pay over $5 million in monthly wages to idle workers, but even that may be happening in fits and starts.
सालों से कोई प्रोडक्शन नहीं है मिलों में. कानपुर की मैं बात कर रही हूँ. यहाँ के जो एनटीसी के कारखाने हैं, इनमें प्रोडक्शन बंद है. मजदूरों को बिना मतलब उनका वेतन उनको मिल रहा है. अब समय से नहीं मिलता है. कभी-कभी 3-3 हफ्ते लेट हो जाता है. त्योहारों के समय पैसा नहीं मिलता है. और अंदर जो कारखानों की हालत है, उनमें चोरियां हो रही हैं. Large scale thefts are taking place.
I think the Honorable Minister, with no disrespect to him, Mr. Venkatswamy, should spend a little time visiting NTC mills to see whether A, half the loom sheds can at all be operated upon. B, what do you do about these completely antiquated antediluvian blow rooms? What do you do about cards that are clogged up? What do you do about draw frames that don't work?
The NTC modernization package hinges on the sale of surplus land. This is the 110-year-old Victoria Mill situated on prime land in Kanpur. But the land leased from the provincial government has not been renewed for a decade. The Uttar Pradesh government is now demanding over $30 million to allow its sale. The dispute is already in the court. The objections from opposition-ruled provincial governments have thrown an unexpected spanner in the NTC modernization plan. The Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP government in Maharashtra in West India has already banned the sale of all textile mill land pending an inquiry. This is a major setback. Half the required funds for modernizing the NTC mills were to have come from the sale of surplus land in property-crazy Bombay.
We are investigating the previous transactions that have taken place, which are supposed to be suspicious transactions. We want the things to be transparent, and therefore we want that no such transaction should take place.
Which transactions? NTC transactions or land transactions?
Land transactions. I'm talking about the land transactions which have taken place. Number of mills, the excess land has been sold out. The permissions were given by the previous government. The complaints have been received that those transactions were suspicious.
सारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का भी प्रॉब्लम है ये कि वर्किंग क्लास जो है बेरोजगार हो जाएंगी, तो उन लोगों के ऊपर भी काफी जिम्मेदारी है. वो लोग तो मेरा ख्याल है कि सारे के सारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हम जो प्लान लिया है उसको कोऑपरेशन करेंगे, ऐसी मेरी उम्मीद है.
Some of NTC's problems are terminal, beyond the reach of money. Even if the mills are successfully modernized for $6.5 billion, what will happen to the workers with obsolete skills? New machines will mean fewer workers, but the government has promised to keep everybody aboard. Will the reborn mills survive the huge redundancy that has been created? What will happen to the mills' accumulated losses, which are 5 times their existing assets? Can the government afford to take on itself NTC losses that have accumulated to $1,300 million? Can these plants be turned around even as private mills are closing down due to increase in cotton prices and competition from the unorganized but highly protected Palum sector? Without answers to these questions, the government could end up throwing good money after bad.
This condition has upset prospective foreign bidders and also those foreign companies whose technologies are already inducted. Perhaps the only way foreign companies and C-dot manufacturers can now operate economically is to forget the past and join hands.